Started. Please.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Krishna. Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Vihare Madhava Girivarada Yashoda Nandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Vrajajana Ranjana Ramunatira Mata Ki. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. So today we are going to read Bhagavad Gita chapter 15, text number 2. The Yoga of the Supreme, Purushottam Yoga. Adaschotvam prashtrastasya sakam Guna pravritta vishaya prabala Adascha murane anushandatani Kamanubandini manusyaloke Adaschudavam prashtastasya sakam Guna pravida vishaya prabala Adascha mulani anushandatani Kamanubandini manusyaloke Adaschotvam prashvitastasya sakam Guna pravrinda vishaya prabala Adascha mulani anushandatani Kamanubandini manusyaloke. Okay, we are going to go straight to the translation. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The branches of this tree extend downward and upward, nourished by the three modes of material nature. The twigs are the objects of the senses. This tree also has roots going down, and these are bound to the fruitive actions of human society. Purport. The description of the banyan tree is further explained here. Its branches spread in all directions. In the lower parts, there are variegated manifestations of living entities, human beings, animals, horses, dogs, cats, etc. These are situated on the lower parts of the branches, where on the upper parts are higher forms of living entities. As a tree is nourished by water, so this tree is nourished by the three modes of material nature. Sometimes we find that a tract of land is barren for want of sufficient water. And sometimes a tract is very green. Similarly, where particular modes of material nature are proportionately greater in quantity, the different species of life are manifested accordingly. The twigs of the tree are considered to be the sense objects. By development of the different modes of nature, we develop different senses. And by the senses, we enjoy different varieties of sense objects. The tips of the branches are the senses. That is the ears, the nose, the eyes, etc., which are attached to the enjoyment of different sense objects. The twigs are sound, form, touch, and so on, the sense objects. The subsidiary roots are attachments and aversion, which are byproducts of different varieties of suffering and enjoyment. The tendencies towards piety and impiety are considered to develop from these secondary roots, which spread in all directions. The real root is from Brahmalok, and the other roots are in the human planetary systems. After one enjoys the results of virtuous activities in the upper planetary systems, he comes down to this earth and renews his karma or fruitive activities for promotion. This planet of human beings is considered the field of activity. Om Jana Timirandasya Janandana Shalakaya Chakshuru Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swaparantikam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagadvate Gopesha Gopika Kandara Vakanda Namastute Tapta Kanjana Gaurangi Radhe Vidavaneshware Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hare Priya Vanja Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Bhavitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. So I'm very happy today, September 2021, because 41 years ago, it's when I entered into Hare Krishna temple, the first one, and it was here, Mombasa, at Njajoni. Actually, that was 1979 December. And somehow or other, I joined for 1 year. And because I was young, my parents took me away. So it's all Krishna's arrangement. I'm here today. Yeah, so and another amazing point today is that the chapter I was asked to speak about is a chapter which can cut all our material, worldly, disturbing, nasty, stupid things if we want to. But if we don't want, we'll still keep on being entangled in the material world. So it's a very amazing chapter. It's called the Yoga of the Supreme, or Purushottam Yoga. I remember again that sometimes, I don't know the year, but it was 2000 and something. I was in Uganda and I was asked to go to a funeral. It was I was in the Hare Krishna temple, Uganda. So immediately they asked me to that we recite this chapter. So this is a chapter which is like when you go to the funeral, you find in the funeral, this person is not there, he was with us every day, we will never see him again. Then from the funeral you say, okay, from today, I'm going to be Krishna conscious. From today, no more sinful activities. I'll not be angry, I'll not I'm not going to be envious of anybody. But immediately from the crematorium, when we are going home, you start making plans of next week, I have to go to Nairobi, I have to do this, I have to do that. So this is a very, very important chapter which can make us, break our attachments. That's why Srila Prabhupada has written in the previous verse, Srila Prabhupada said that the process of breaking attachment to the material world is discussed in the beginning of this chapter. And Srila Prabhupada writes that Srila Prabhupada writes that these branches which we are being attached to, they are different planets. From Brahmalok down to Patalaloka. Those are all different branches. Just like monkeys, they jump from one branch to another, trying to get some enjoyment. So we are jumping from different branches, or rather in different planets, trying to get enjoyment. So, and it's mentioned here that the twigs, they are the sense objects. So this chapter actually deals with the subject matter that the more we try to enjoy sense objects, the more we get trapped. That's why the example given here of a tree is very important. The tree, it is said, it is upside down. In other words, we don't have experience of a tree which is upside down. We only see trees which are upside up. But the example given is of a tree which is reflected in water. The tree reflected in water, actually it looks like upside down. But the real tree is upside up. So it's very important to understand that all the activities which we are doing in this material world, they are upside down. Where the tree is upside up, or rather the real tree, there are no diseases. We are talking about the spiritual world. There is no growing old, like now I've grown very young boy who was running everywhere. Now, if I try to run, I can break my legs. So old age is there and death is there. So the real tree is different from the reflection. The tree which is reflected in water, actually it is not permanent. It's just like when you look at yourself in a mirror, the reflection there is actually you. Like when I look myself in a mirror, I see another lavanga dust on the other side. But that lavanga dust, immediately I remove the mirror, that lavanga dust is gone. Because I am the real. So this chapter is actually very important because it teaches us that no matter what we do, no matter what adjustments we do in this material world, all those adjustments, they are just like a reflection, just like a tree which is reflected in water. And Srila Prabhupada here tells us that we should be very, very careful because if we try to enjoy the sense objects, there is no way we can be satisfied. Because this is not the real tree. So all the branches, all the different planetary systems, and all the twigs, all the sense objects, because the twigs represent the sense objects, they are all temporary in this material world. And it is mentioned here, very important sentence, that the only way we can cut our attachment is through devotional service, bhakti. Because in the previous chapter, chapter 14, it talks about the three modes of material nature. That's why in this chapter 15, which we are discussing now, it is mentioned that it's mentioned in that verse which we are reading that the branches of this tree extend downwards and upwards, and they are nourished by the three modes of material nature. And the previous chapter was called the three modes of material nature. In these three modes of material nature, we have the mode of goodness, sattva gun, we have the mode of passion, raja gun, and we have the mode of ignorance, tama gun. In these three modes, there are sense objects for each mode. Just like those people who are in the mode of goodness, they don't want to enjoy things which are enjoyed by people in the mode of ignorance. I'm just going to mention one thing like beer, drinking beer. Somebody in the mode of goodness might feel, oh, this thing is smelling so bad. How can you drink this thing? Even it is not sweet, it is bitter. But somebody in the mode of ignorance will be, oh, one bottle, another one, even up to 10. And he's feeling I'm enjoying. But here, Prabhupada gives us a warning that when we are in this material world, listen to this sentence, the last sentence of the purport. Prabhupada says, this planet of human beings is considered the field of activities, and after one enjoys the results of his fruitive activities in the upper planetary systems, he comes down to this earth to renew his karma. So we are in a very wonderful place in this material world we are living now. This planet we are in now. This is the only planet. Prabhupada is giving us what the Swahili people call motisha. He's giving us he's motivating us that, hey, you are in this material world. Stop doing sinful activities. This is the only place you can change your karma. When you are in Brahmalok, it's not easy. Enjoyment there is too much. You know, when you are in Gadabalok, they are musicians. They just enjoy music with fine tunes. Here there is no music. Whatever we are experiencing here, we call nice music. It's useless. You know, but in Gandabalok, music is the real music there. That's why they entertain the demigods. Musicians go to entertain Uhuru, but Uhuru himself, you know, he thinks he's being entertained, but if one Gandava can come, he will never listen to another person. So the point I'm trying to make here is that in the upper planetary systems, it's not easy to change our karma. In the lower planetary systems, it's like impossible because the suffering is too much. Just imagine somebody has been affected by corona seriously. How can that person chant Hare Krishna? It's not easy. In the lower planetary systems, the suffering is too much suffering. And the example I can just give is like, you know, somebody who is staying in a slum, he has not got any food to eat, he has got no forward or backwards. You go and tell him, okay, Prabhuji, let's just say, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. He will not be understanding what you are talking about because he's suffering. Somebody is enjoying, he has got his 10 bottles of beer in the head. You ask him, oh, Prabhuji, let's say Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. You ask you, who are you? I'm the happiest person ever. So Prabhupada says that when we are in this material world, this planetary system, it is the best place. It is the best to renew our karmic activities. This is the place where we can become Krishna conscious. Of course, this chapter is talking about the weapon, the instrument, the machine you can use to cut attachment of this material world. And that machine is called detachment from material activities. And Prabhupada warns us that the only way we can be detached from the material world is only if we are engaged in devotional service in Bhakti Yoga. That's why in the previous chapter, Lord Krishna discusses about the three modes of material nature. And in this chapter, he will emphasize, Lord Krishna himself, that it is only through devotional service we can be detached from the material world. Because the material world, the twigs, those sense objects, they are so delicious. But those twigs, they can make us move from one branch to another branch. They can make us move from one planet to another planet. But so long as we are attached to Krishna, through devotional service, we can forget the attachment of this material world. Although it is not very easy. Talking is okay. We can talk and feel happy. Oh, detachment from material world. Then attachment to Krishna. It's very easy. But so long as you see your friend with a Audi and you are driving what is it called? In a Probox, you're like, oh my God, Krishna, why are you not giving me an Audi also? You see your friend, some or other is now being called a billionaire. You are not even a thousandaire. Even a thousand, you don't, oh Krishna, you don't know, I want these fruits. So to speak about being detached from material world is easy to speak. But actually the reality is, if we can 100% be attached to devotional service, to Bhakti Yoga, very easy, we can feel distaste of the material things. And as I said, it's not easy. That's why Srila Prabhupada said the beginning is the chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. When we are attached to the twigs, to the sense objects, and we think we are happy, we are just like, the example I can give is of a monkey when it is carrying its child, or rather its baby. That baby of a monkey, it's not very safe, because when the monkey goes crazy, jumping from one branch to another, it's very easy for the baby to fall down. That's the way it is when we are being attached to material things. We think that we are really safe, but it's like as if we are on the back of a monkey. If it goes crazy, we have earthquakes, we have deaths, we have getting old. Like now, really frankly speaking, when I check myself in the mirror and I remember how I was 40 years ago, I wonder. So this is not a place whereby it is like a very good place to be in for a gentleman. But when the dog or the cat is holding the kitten, the baby is 100% safe. Whether the dog jumps up, or even the cat, whether the cat jumps up, or it doesn't matter what it does, the baby is, the baby is in the jaws of the cat. So that kitten is 100% protected. But the baby of a monkey, anything can happen anytime. So the more we get attached to the material world, it's like being a baby of a monkey. Anytime you can fall, you know, and when you fall from there, there's no surety of being, because the monkey is on top of the branches there, and jumping from one branch to another, maybe it is 100 feet high or 50. When you come to the ground, you don't know whether you are falling on a stone. So that means when we are attached to devotional service, we are like a kitten which is bitten by the cat, being taken to a safer place, to a better place, you know, like that. So it is mentioned that, and this will be my conclusion, that we must be determined, very determined. We must be very much determined to cut down this attachment to the tricks, to the sense objects, and be determined to use everything for the service of Krishna. Then you will be safe. But so long as we don't cut detachment, so long as we don't use this weapon of detachment with determination, then just talking about, oh, I'm Krishna conscious, you know, this material world, I don't need it, it will not work. We have to follow the process. And the process is following the instructions given in Bhagavad Gita. That's why Srila Prabhupada said every morning we have to read Srimad Bhagavatam. Every evening we have to read Bhagavad Gita, like the way we are reading today. Because just by reading one verse, it can make you sleep very well. Jai Shishi Rukmi Dwakadisha Ki Jai. So, very nice chapter. It teaches us that we are moving in different branches, and the tree is upside down. The roots are from where Brahmalok is. So we are not in a very safe place. We are like in a place whereby we are in a reflection. Only in the spiritual world is where the real tree is. So we should help one another to make sure that when we are in this planet Earth, this one time, not after 2 lifetimes, we don't have guarantee of next life. Next life we may go down. Prabhupada mentioned there, we might become even buffaloes. Prabhupada is mentioning different animals there. Next life we don't know. So in this life, one lifetime, we try to follow the instructions given in Bhagavad Gita, given in the Vedas. Actually, it is mentioned here, the Noah of the Vedas is the one who practices devotional service. If you say you know the Vedas and you don't practice devotional service, there is no Vedas that you know. You know only the tips. You know only the tip of the roots. So if we want to understand actually that this material world is not the right place to be, we have to perform devotional service. And as I said, it all starts from here. So any time Srila Prabhupada wants that this chanting of Hare Krishna Maha Mantra is the beginning, is the middle, and it is the end. Just this when we say Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. That's like the cry of a child. The child is crying. Like that child, if she cries, the mother will immediately, hey, my son, my daughter, what's happening? So this is a cry. This chanting Hare Krishna is a cry. And we have so many things which can make us cry. But immediately we chant Hare Krishna, Krishna will come. And sometimes we cry for nonsense and we think it is the right thing. We cry for useless things and we think they are the best things. But by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna will make us know what is good and what is not good. So it's like that. So I'm very happy to be at Mombasa, even I was not able to give the class properly, because I'm so happy. Anandas is feeding me like anything. I'm not going to mention what you have given me, but it was really nice. So thank you very much. If there is any comments or any questions, you can try to get some realizations also. And the Prabhu.
Example about this monkey.
Huh?
Given by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, this monkey example. That this monkey holding the mother, just like Jnanis and yogis. They are trying to get the perfection by his own effort. So there is a chances to find out.
Very good. So we should not try to become Jnanis and yogis. They are like the baby on the back of the monkey. Anytime it can fall down. But when we get into bhakti, we are like the baby in the jaws of a cat. No question of falling down. Thank you very much. Alright, anybody with any comment or any question? Yes. So I'm just going to wind up by reading one sentence here. Only one sentence. Listen to this sentence. One who wants to get out of this material existence must know this tree thoroughly through analytical study. Then he can cut off his relationship with this tree. The point is we must cut off our relationship with this tree. And as I said, it's not easy. But by the mercy of the spiritual master, by the mercy of the acharyas, by the mercy of Guru, Shastra and sadhus, is very easy to cut. So you pray for me, I cut it. I pray for you, you cut it. And then we meet again, back in Goloka Vrindavan, where there is no death, no growing old, and no death. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
You have to be here,
This place, unless you are a bhakta, a devotee of Krishna, this place is not very nice. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, Rukmini Dwagadisha town, this is